Hello and welcome to the career simulation of 9th overall pick in the 2023 NHL Draft. Nate Danielson. To start off his career, he is on the first forward line of the Brandon Wheat Kings. In his first season before getting drafted, he would score 84 points in a full 68-game WHL season. The Brandon Wheat Kings would finish 8th in the league. In the second round of the playoffs, though, the Kings would be eliminated to the Vancouver Giants in 5 games. In the draft lottery, the Blackhawks and Canadiens have the highest odds at the first overall pick. In the draft lottery, though, the Blue Jackets would take the first overall pick. Also in the playoffs, Danielson would score 17 points. With the 19th overall pick, Nate Danielson would go to the Vegas Golden Knights. Also, Danielson is revealed to be a 69 overall. He would also receive a contract at 3 years worth $815,000. He is also up to a 70 in Season 1. He would stay on the first center line of the Brandon Wheat Kings as well. Nate Danielson would only play 61 games but would score 67 points. Unfortunately, Brandon would finish last in the WHL. Danielson is up to a 72 but now has top 9 potential. He would be a scratched player in the AHL for the Silver Knights too. He would play 45 games but would only score 4 points. The Silver Knights would finish 4th though and would make the playoffs. But in the second round would be eliminated to the San Jose Barracuda. He is now a 73. He would also be playing on the 4th line of the Silver Knights. He would play 75 games but would score 42 points. The Silver Knights would miss the playoffs. He is up to a 74 but with 4th line potential though. Danielson would play 72 games with 37 points. The Knights would be back in the playoffs though, finishing 4th in the league. But in the conference finals, the Hershey Bears would eliminate the Knights in 5 games. Nate Danielson would revive a new contract for 1 year worth $855,000 and is now a 75 overall. Danielson would put up 16 points in 60 games this season. The Silver Knights would finish at the top of the AHL too. But in the second round, the Barracuda would eliminate the Knights in 6 games. Danielson would take home a new contract once again for $855,000 and is still a 75 but is down to depth potential. Danielson would play 79 games and would put up 68 points. The Knights would once again make the playoffs, finishing 9th, and would go all the way to win the 2029 Calder Cup, where they would beat the Admirals in 5 games. In 24 playoff games, Danielson would put up 7 points. Danielson would get another contract at another 1 year for $925,000 but is still a 75. Danielson would finally play a full HL season and would score 58 points. Henderson would place 3rd in the league as well. In the first round, though, would be eliminated to the Barracuda again, but this time in 6 games. He would receive another $950,000 contract for another year. Also, he is still a 75. He would only put up 35 points this season though. The Knights would miss the playoffs as well as a high 11th place team. Another 1 year $950,000 contract still at a 75, and he would also reach maximum potential. Danielson would score 54 points this season in a 70-game season. By the way, in his AHL career so far, he has 314 points in the AHL, as he will most likely never play an NHL game. The Knights would finish 9th in the league though. In the second round, you guessed it, Barracuda would eliminate the Knights in a clean sweep. Danielson would score 5 points in 10 playoff games too. Nate Danielson would test free agency this season, as the Vegas Golden Knights did not want him. At the start of the season, no one would be able to sign Danielson. He is also now still a 75. He would not play a game anywhere. In his second year of free agency, still no one would sign him. But in the middle of the season, the Iowa Wild would give Danielson a contract. Also, in 46 games, Danielson would have 33 points. With his new team, the Iowa Wild would finish 22nd in the league. Danielson would once again sign a 1-year contract with the Wild for 1 year worth $1.170 million. He is still a 75 too. In 66 games, Danielson would once again put up 33 points. Iowa would finish 17th in the league and would miss the playoffs. Danielson would receive another 1-year contract, this time being for $1.107 million. Danielson would score 53 points this season. The Wild would also finish 30th, missing the playoffs. He would once again be a free agent again. The Marlies would actually sign Danielson to a contract at 1 year worth $1.166 million, and he is also down to a 74. Danielson would score 64 points in a full season too. The Marlies would barely miss the playoffs, getting 16th. Danielson would once again go into free agency. No one would sign Danielson, and he is down to a 73. I couldn't find search results for Nate, and that means he is probably retired this season. He did retire apparently at the age of 34. In his HL career, Nate Danielson would score 557 points at the end of his career. Hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye.